All right, guys, here we go again. Now we're simplifying square root expressions. Really doesn't change much. All right, so here we go. They've got these as three separate square roots, but you really don't have to think of them that way. They're all one big square root. So there's one z here. 30 breaks down into 2 times 3 times 5. Then I've got two z's times, then 5 times 7, that's 35, and then I've got 3 z's. So now, again, I'm pairing up, okay? There's no pair of 2's, there's no pair of 3's, there's no pair of 7's. There is a pair of 5's, so there's a 5 out here. Now, z's, there's a pair, there's a pair, and there's a pair. So I have 6 total, which gives me 3 pairs. So outside is z to the third. And then I'm left with my square root, and I'm left with the leftovers, the 2, the 3, and the 7, which is 42. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 7 is 42. So what did we say that was? 5 z to the third times the square root of 42. All right, next one. Again, the same thing is going on here. Now there's a little difference. There's something a little different going on here I noticed real quickly as I started to load this up. Notice these two numbers on the outside of the roots. They just stay out there. They're not really relevant to the problem at the first. So really they get kind of pulled out in front of the root. So you really have 5 times 4, which is 20. And then you have the big square root. 14 is 2 times 7. And then we have 2 z's. And then 21 is 3 times 7. And then you have 3 z's. Okay, so now we already have a 20 on the outside. Now what we pick up is we don't have a pair of 2's, we don't have a pair of 3's, but we do pick up another 7 because we have a pair of 7. So there's a 7 out there. So that number is now 140. Now as far as z's, I got one pair here, and I got another pair here. So that's 2 pairs of z's on the outside times the square root. What was left? There was a 2 in here, there was a 3 in here, so that's 6. And then there was one straggler z left over. So my answer is 140 z squared times the square root of 6z. All right. Next one. Now this one is really even simpler. It's much more like what they did on the last homework set. They've just got a couple of variables inside instead of just one. 42 is 6 times 7. So that ends up being the square root of 2 times 3 times 7. Then you have 4 a's and you have 6 b's. And now you're looking for pairs. I don't have any pairs of numbers, but I've got a pair of a's, and I got a second pair of a's, so that's 2 pairs of a's and no a's left over. I've got a pair of b's, a second pair of b's, and then a third pair of b's. So while no numbers move outside, I end up with 2 a's and 3 b's on the outside, and then I just end up with that 42 still underneath there. So my answer is a squared b cubed times the square root of 42. One more, and we're back to the one with the multiplying thing. Now again, this isn't that big a deal. It looks more intimidating, but the reality is you're just dealing with one big square root. So there's a 2 and an a, then a 2 and a 7, and then 3 a's, and then a 5 and then an a. So let's see, we got a pair of 2's, but that's the only number that pairs up. So there's a pair of 2's outside. Now a's, there's a pair of a's, there's a pair of a's. So I got 2 a's out there, but I still have an a left over. So what's left over? Well, the 2's are gone. So 5 and 7 makes this 35. That's what's left over. And then again, there's that straggler a in there left again. So we've got 2a squared and then the square root of 35a. I hope that makes it simple for you, but again, always ask questions.